Good morning. It's such a beautiful morning. I decided to do it from outside. I don't know if you guys can be able to see very well, but you see the mountains? Yeah, you don't see them very well. You look a lot closer in person in real life. The beautiful sky. It looks like it might rain, but it is July, and so we get these clouds and then humidity, and sometimes it drops and sometimes it doesn't. But okay, let's get started. I'm still waking up, but welcome, my friends. The last week and a half has been very interesting for me. I've been going through quite the roller coaster of emotions and hormones. And I had a doozy. I had a real doozy. There's a period of time before my moon cycle, which means my menstrual cycle, my moon cycle, because the moon cycle does its own thing. But there's a period of time before my moon cycle that I am inconsolable, incredibly irrational, emotional. There is like 3 to 5 problems at least for every solution that I can think of. So let me know if you experience this as well. It's usually the 3 to 4 day period before I start my period. And then it's like I start and it's like this, my body has this sigh of relief and it's like, oh yeah, remember everything is awesome. And we can do this and we can do this and we can do that and we can do this. And then there's also this, for me, this is what I've been healing this time, is this shame around the emotions that I had that seemed irrational. And the fears and the frustrations and the irritations that seemed really irrational, because it's like, what in the world? I feel like everything is amazing. And then there's like these 2 or 3 days where it's like, nothing is awesome. Nothing is amazing. Everything sucks and everything's broken. And I don't know how to fix it. There's no hope and there's no help and there's no. So please let me know. Am I the only one? Like, comment if you experience this as well with your cycle. And so with this cycle, what I'm discovering is that what shows up for me, this is what became apparent this last cycle for me. What shows up for me right before my cycle is what is ready to be released in that cycle. And my cycle is also changing patterns. It's shifting from bleeding with the new moon, which was on Monday. The new moon was on Monday. And usually I start a couple days before the new moon, bleed with the new moon, and then end. But I didn't, I was 5 days late, you guys. So that means to me that I'm shifting and I'm starting to bleed with now the waning moon. From the new to the full, we're waning, we're building in the momentum. And these moon cycles have different, there's 4 moon cycles the moon goes through. And as women, we go through these same archetypal moons as well. And so depending on when you bleed with your moon, your personal moon cycle and what the moon cycle is going through can tell you about the energy of your cycle and the energy of your current different states of accessing consciousness. It's interesting. So the maiden phase is this innocence, this pure innocence, naivety, just so excited about life, has all of this energy. And she is typically the waxing or new moon cycle. And then the motherhood, which is brought on by and maidenhood is brought on by your first menstrual cycle, right? Your first bleed. And then motherhood is brought on by either partnering up with your partner, with whatever partner you choose, or childbirth, whether a physical baby, birthing something into the world, some kind of creation into the world. And that is typically that mothering cycle. Why can't I remember what moon it is? Crone is dark moon. Mother is full moon. And then Wild Woman. Let's see. Maiden is also pre-ovulation. Motherhood is ovulation. Wild is premenstrual. And then Crone is menstrual. So this is all really beautiful information that you can find in a whole bunch of different places, but getting really clear with your own personal cycles, not just monthly, because what came to me this cycle was, okay, this stuff I've been holding on to for a really long time that's ready to release and be done. But now I'm also shifting between moons. I'm shifting from bleeding during a new moon to bleeding in a full moon, which puts me in that waning phase, which is maiden phase. Interesting. Anyway, fun stuff. So taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, taking time out. I try to, I have scheduled and try to take a silent day in one of those days where I'm inconsolable, to be with myself and be with those feelings and fears and frustrations and irritations, and also with the physical sensations, right? The cramping and stuff that can happen. So I'm curious to know. I have not found a tracker that I really, really resonate with that kind of gets all of the things that I want. So I'm wondering what kind of tracker you guys use. I have one on my phone that just basically is my dates. Like, this is like my dates. This is my average cycle. And then it kind of tells me when my next cycle thinks it's going to be. And so I have like a running calendar there of actual dates, but I really want one that I can track with emotions and with the current moon cycle and stuff like that. And I've not found one. So if you guys have one, I would love to know what you guys use. And what have you guys found with your cycles, with tracking your cycles? This is something that, unfortunately, our society has moved away from honoring, revering, and celebrating. In ancient times, every stage of womanhood was revered, and there was some kind of mission or celebration or passage or rite of passage that happened. Stepping into your first bleed, there was this passage into womanhood, this celebration of welcome to the sisterhood. And then when women would bleed, they were typically on the same cycle, and they would rent a tent, and they didn't have to wash the dishes. They didn't have to care for the children. They all secluded, they rested, they nurtured and nourished each other as they nurtured and nourished the earth, their blood back to the earth. And right now, most of our blood goes into these very toxic, chemical-filled tampons or pads that then go into the landfill. Or a lot of people that are starting to use cups still take the cups or those little, it's like a thing with the little thing. Anyway, they take them and they just dump them in the toilet and then flush it down, and it goes to the sanitary system, which the water gets bleached and chemical treated and blah, blah, blah. And there's no blood being returned back to the planet. And so right now, the only blood that is being spilled on our planet is through war. And so there's an imbalance that's happening on this planet. Before, women would bleed, and it was this beautiful, our blood is so rich in nutrients. I mean, think about it. It was that your uterus wall was ripe for housing life, for creating life. It was this beautiful space that had all the nutrients necessary to growth in new life. And so when it doesn't get fertilized and then all of that sloughs off, and which is our bleed, it is just so nutrient dense that giving it back to the earth helps Mother Earth grow and heal and transform. So what I do a lot of times is I will add it to water, and I'll water my houseplants, which is a beautiful fertilizer. I will come and dump it. I've got raspberries and blackberries and a couple of other things out here that I want to grow. And so I'll come and I'll water out here. I have used it in rituals and rites and ceremonies. I've painted with it on paper. I've painted it on my body. I have painted my drums with it. It is this really beautiful energy and medicine that it took me a while to get, guys. I've been using a cup for about 10 years. And it wasn't until this year, I mean, last year I was using it for fertilizing and stuff, but it wasn't until this year that I was like, okay, let's try this. I've seen people painting themselves in stem cells. You guys, it's full of stem cells. It's amazing. And it just, something about the month of my birthday this year, I saw images of science symbols that I was supposed to paint on my body with my last bleed before I turned 42. And it was this really beautiful ceremony of, this is part of my body. Why is it gross? Why have we deemed it gross? You guys, do you think that's gross? Like, and it's okay if you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I, because we've been taught that it's gross. We've been taught that it's dirty and that it stinks. And so let's put perfumes in these pads and let's put smelly things in there so that we, heaven forbid, smell our natural odor, our natural body chemicals that are actually, they trigger and stimulate different things in us when we smell them. It's like this beautiful biofeedback loop that happens. It's it's aphrodisiac. But when we like mask the scent with fake chemicals or try to like be so squeaky clean that we actually, because we're supposed to have those micro, biomes, those bugs, that smell is supposed to cause different things in us, physically, psychologically, physiologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so really giving space to honor the sacred cycle that you go through. The rites of passage that happened with your first menstruation, and then also your first time giving birth. And then when you enter menopause and start that new, I don't know. I keep going, am I in perimenopause? I don't know. When is it normal to start and not start? Because with the chemicals in our body, right? Menopause is starting a lot earlier for a lot of people. I was reading a blog from a medical medium who is a genius in understanding how our bodies react with these chemicals that are new, relatively new in our evolutionary cycle of life. And he said that menopause, like hot flashes, irritability, insomnia, those are the three that I can remember right now that are typically linked with menopause, are actually liver overtoxification symptoms. And it just happens to coincide simultaneously with the time that our bodies are stopping our natural cycle. It just happens to coincide with that. Those are not normal menopausal symptoms. Yes, they are average, and a lot of people experience them, but average and normal, typical because most people experience them, and normal are different things. If your period causes pain, that is not normal. That is not normal. That is your body telling you something is not right. So just because everybody, a lot of people experience heavy cramping and crazy bleeding, or in these hormone shifts, that irritability and the hot flashes, those are not normal. symptoms. That is your body telling you something's not right. And we have been taught to ignore this time in our cycle, these times of our bodies, because, oh, it means we're weak. It means we're, we're putting other people out. The patriarchal society doesn't set up a way for us to like rest and regenerate in our monthly cycle like our natural body and rhythm wants to, right? In ancient times, it was Red's tent. For 3 to 5 days, those women didn't do anything. They went to the red tent and they rested and rejuvenated and shared stories of motherhood and shared sisterhood and shared joys and celebrations and heartaches together. But we have to work these 40-hour work weeks. We don't have time, and weeks off a year. That doesn't set us up for being able to take this time to rest when our body needs it. And so there's some shifts and changes that are ready to take place, but it's going to take all of us going, hey, listen, this is my time that I need to be quiet. This is my time where I need to kind of take it easy and slow down. And this is my time when I need to rest. But this time, oh my gosh, like post-op or pre-ovulation time, that maiden time, there is so much fire energy and go energy and creative energy and do energy. And then mother afterwards, ovulation time, and then mother energy gets shit done. She like maiden is the dreamer and mother is the doer. She's like, we're going to finish the shit, right? Crone is the wise woman. It's like, I can see the answers to all of these problems. And that time is your bleed time. That time is your sit and be time, and look at the month ahead and go, what is coming up for me and what is important for me and what is not important for me. It's autumn. It's the falling away, right? And so if we could honor our own cycles and rhythms and that go with nature too, like right now we're in fire season, you guys. Happy birthday to all of my Leo friends. If you're Leo, say hey or tell me where your Leo is. My North Node is in my Leo. Actually, what I'm working towards, which is really fun. This bright, shiny energy. I love Leo energy. It's really, really fun. So learning to connect with your seasons and your own cycles. I'm wondering, the chat is really quiet. Hi, who's here? Say hi. And how do you feel about your own personal seasons and cycles? What are some things that you've noticed? Or like, oh my gosh, I've actually never thought about it like this before. I don't know that I want to, or I'm not ready for that, or like wherever you are is okay. I remember when I first read Rise, Sister, Rise, oh my gosh, it was probably 15 years ago. Rise, Sister, Rise is this book by Rebecca Campbell. And it is a really beautiful book. I'm rereading it right now. But it is also one of those books that I will also just like flip to. And it's a great oracle book. She realized that the one she had been waiting for had been her all along. Just really beautiful. And then there's like little lessons, and then she has questions for journaling or meditating and beautiful poems. And but she does talk in here about the cycles, 4 stages of womanhood and unlocking the power of your period. Your monthly cycle as your teacher. I mean, so beautiful. And I remember thinking, what? I was not taught this, right? I was taught about the physiological stuff, the physical stuff, and that this is what you can expect, and that cramping is normal, and that blah, blah, blah. And it's like, actually, no, cramping is normal, yes, but to cause you pain and suffering, like literal, that's your body telling you something. And those moments when you're like, that's your body saying, hey sis, you probably should like seclude for a little bit and take a break and sit with your body, because there's something that you're ready to release before you actually release in your cycle. And then those times in your cycle, like, I'm really curious how you guys track your cycle. How do you feel about your cycle? Let's talk. Let's have an open dialogue. Let's see, Lindsay, I've had a hysterectomy, but I remember the smell after having babies and absolutely loved it. Something I will always remember. Oh, that is really, really interesting. The smell after having babies. See, this is stuff I was not taught, and I didn't pick up on. I just remember being really irritated with like, oh my, I'm going to bleed for like 6 weeks after having a baby. Are you kidding me? But like, and just feeling so irritated and annoyed at my body instead of like so grateful and honored and revered that it created life. And that this was part of its process of now mourning and releasing all the nutrients that it held on to sustain and support that life that it was building. It's releasing that now because it's not needed, because now the life is now a life. It is its own thing. And so also having compassion for yourself for not knowing some of these things, right? Like, oh, passion and compassion. Like this week, I was so irritated because we ended up having a party on the day, my day of silence, that I typically, I put in my calendar a day of silence somewhere in between the 3 to 5 days before my period and like the 3 to 5 days of my period is. I try to put a day of silence in there so that I can have that day to rest and rejuvenate and really reconnect with my body and myself. And we ended up having a party, and I did know, like, I knew ahead of time. I saw like, hey, this is the day that the fireworks are happening. Let's just combine birthday fireworks. And I was like, oh, that happens to be my day of silence. Okay, that's okay. I can reschedule it, but I didn't. And then that day came, and I was so irritated because I was in that period of my cycle. And it was just like irritated at everybody else, and then also really irritated at myself for not honoring. Like really, like after the irritation around everybody else subsided, because I was like, I can't really be mad at them. It's not really their fault. This is my day of my cycle that I did not honor that. I did not commit to myself. I did not honor myself in my cycle. So, and having compassion with myself, because I thought I could just push through, right? Because this is old programming. We can push through. We can self-sacrifice our needs, our wants, our desires for other people. Interesting. So how does everybody else feel about their cycle? What are some of the things, the rituals that you do to honor your sacred cycle? Do you have rituals that honor your sacred cycle? And it could be before, during, after. Like that's a 3-week period of time. Is in that 3-week period, and then of course the fourth week is like everything is awesome week, so we don't think about it. Or at least I don't. I'm like oblivious to anything because everything is amazing. That's the maiden week for me. But what are some of the rituals that you do, or have you thought about, or haven't thought about? Tell me, what do you do with your cycle that could be a ritual for you? So I've been trying to institute, while you're typing, I've been trying to institute, and as you share what you do, it may spark in someone else like, oh, I might want to try that. That might fit for me. Because there have been a lot of things that I've heard from a lot of people, and not all of them seem to fit. And I'm like, that sounds really nice, but I don't know if that really works for me. So like my rituals right now with my moon blood, I will water my plants, or I will paint with it on my drum or my body or on paper. And then I typically burn the paper, and then I will wash the drum. And of course I wash my body. But that's not an every cycle thing. That's a every once in a while thing that happens. I will sit and meditate and pull cards. I will lay on the heating pad. I've got an infrared sauna mat. And I'll lay the Trimurta Mudra. This is the Trimurta Mudra, it's Yoni Mudra. It's also sign language for vagina, which works. I really like the word Yoni. I think the word Yoni is very sacred and beautiful. That encompasses the whole female organ system, not just vagina, or labia or uterus or ovaries. It's all of it. So this is the Trimurta Mudra, and I'll place that on my womb. And your palms end up right over your ovaries, and then your fingers end up right, right on your labia. And it's just this really beautiful, like breathing into that space and loving and nurturing. And then I'll do some yoni massages. So like if your ovaries are here and your pelvic floor is here, right? It creates this like rainbow arch, and I'll just massage from the bottom up and the bottom up and the bottom up and just massage. And sometimes I will do some self yoni, actually vaginal massage inside with a yoni egg or a crystal wand, and really mapping the yoni and going, if up towards my belly button is 12 o'clock, and then down towards my anus is 6 o'clock. I will move around the whole clock, massaging and feeling. And there's sometimes places there's no sensation. It's like, oh, let's hold and let's create some love there, and let's move around and gently give love. And sometimes there's places where it's like really tender, and it releases emotion, crying, pain, sometimes even can be a really, really beautiful thing. And so I don't do all these things every month. It's just every month I kind of listen to my body. Sometimes I do a yoni steam. You put special herbs in a bowl of hot water, and then you kneel like in child's pose, or you squat over like in Malasana, yogi squat, and with a blanket wrapped around you so the steam stays in. That one's always really, really, really beautiful. You guys, there's these beautiful goldfinches in my yard. There's 2 of them right now, and it's like they are all yellow. They're like this big. Boop. They're so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And nobody's commenting. What do you guys do? Please share, because when you share, you may spark an idea. It may be like, oh, that thing, I want to do that thing. Or it may spark, actually, I think I want to do it this way in other people. So sharing your rites and rituals can help other people. Also, sharing your struggles helps other people go, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Like that 3 days before my cycle, did you guys ever watch in the 90s? This was a show I would watch with my friends. This grown-up woman, she had a Drop Dead Fred, an imaginary friend that came back when she became an adult. Drop Dead Fred, and he called her mom the mega bitch. Oh no, the mega bitch is here. And that is like my alter ego. That is my like pre-menstrual alter ego, is mega bitch. And because she dissed and this was her unconscious, was mega bitch, and she would snap at everybody, and nobody could do anything right. Everybody was fucking up. Everybody was the reason for all of the problems in the whole world, and there was no solution. Can you hear them chirping? Oh my God, they're so pretty, you guys. There's so many of them. I turned the camera, but you're not going to see them. So I just this like, oh, mega bitch. And it's just like, anybody else? Like, just irrational, inconsolable, hormonal nightmare, basically. And that's why I go, okay, I got to take this time. Hey, Zoe, quit licking. Whoop, quit licking. She's still licking her wound, and we've got a little donut on her, but she's anyway getting what she can. Let's see, Ellie. I slow down and take a lot more stretch breaks. Oh, so how do you know? How do you know? What is the thing that tells you, oh, hey, it's time to slow down? Do you have a calendar? Do you have a journal? Do you just know? Do you innately know? Like let's help each other here, because this last one was rough for me. And I am looking for some solutions and some help. I mean, because I put things in my calendar, but then I didn't listen. I ignored myself. So that's a lesson that I've got to learn. I feel like I just got, so Saturday was Mary Magdalene's feast day. And in honor of Mary Magdalene's feast day, I went and bought the Mystique of Magdalene. I bought a new card deck. So let's pull. We're going to pull a 4-card spread. Okay, this will be fun. We're going to pull a card for each phase of our menstrual cycle. Let's see. Emily. I'm so glad you're touching base on this today. My cycle is weird this month. Okay, mine too. Anybody who else has a weird cycle this month? I was 5 days late. And last cycle, my cycle went three days longer than it normally goes. So there's a lot of shifting happening for me personally in my cycle. So I'm glad I'm not alone. So thank you for sharing. I'm not alone. Okay. I never do anything to make this time special. Maybe this is my sign to honor this part of my cycle. Yeah. When our cycles are speaking to us in these ways, either causing us pain or they're doing something out of the normal, or we find ourselves irritated with it, it's usually this like, hey, there's something your body is literally trying to tell you. So let's see what Mary Magdalene has to say about honoring our cycles. Okay, for the collective, we call in Mary Magdalene in the order of Magdalena. Ooh, Joan of Arc showing up as well to help guide us as we talk about this. Another hard topic, you guys. But like last week, I went on that suicide topic because I literally was in this place of like, I can't do this anymore. There's a part of me that literally cannot do this anymore. There's a part of me that needs to die. It wants to disappear. And it's not that I want to commit suicide, but there is that like, I in that mindset, I don't know what to do, right? Like this is the only thing is like, just like, it's gotta be the end. And metaphysically, and when I step out of that and go look at it from this beautiful, loving, compassion place, when I'm aligned with my higher self, it's like, oh, you sweet thing, what part of you is ready to be gone and die? What part of you is over? What part of you can't do this anymore? Let's give her a new job. Ellie, are those the cards the author of Mary Magdalene revealed? No, it is not. Hers is it's a goddess card deck, and I have it. It's downstairs. And it's beautiful red yegg, yoni egg, yegg. It's a beautiful red egg with golden light coming out of it. And I don't remember what goddess is on the front deck, but Megan Watterson is the author of Mary Magdalene Revealed, and that card deck is a goddess archetype deck. Beautiful deck. Okay, Mary Magdalene, what wisdom do you have for us for getting more in tune with our natural cycles of our natural cycles? Yeah, our moon, menstrual cycles. Okay, the Maiden. Come on, sticky cards, they're new. Maiden, Mother. Come on, they're really sticky. They're slippery, sticky, I don't know. Wild Woman. Crone. Okay. Maiden. For the Maiden, the Maiden is the, so I'm just going to read from Rise, Sister Rise. The Maiden is pre-ovulation. Young, enthusiastic, strong, independent, determined, excitable, hopeful, courageous, energized, boundless, and positive, full of ideas and so excited about life. What she lacks in years, she makes up in enthusiasm and zest for life. The Maiden is the virgin, the innocent part of us that sees potential in everything. She's a woman, one in herself, and she sees the magic in everything. Shadow of the Maiden, naive, self-centered, impressionable, inexperienced, lacking confidence, too many ideas, spends lots of time good at starting things, but lacks the drive to finish them. Full of hope and big ideas, but easily discouraged as they are not fully grounded yet. A tendency to overcommit. She says yes because she gets overexcited or doesn't want to miss out. FOMO. The season is spring, full of possibility. The element is air. The period cycle is pre-ovulation. The moon phase is waxing to new moon. Waxing/new moon. It makes me a little confused. I have questions about this, so I'm going to sit with this one. Rite of passage is Menarche, getting your period, becoming a woman. Athena, priestess, Ostara, Persephone, and notes for rising. This is a time for coming up with lots of ideas, playing and dreaming about without restriction. Write your dreams, make your plans. The sky's the limit. So this is the time for dreaming big, for going for those big things, for like not restricting yourself, like having so much fun. So the card we pulled for the maiden cycle is the Lady and the Unicorn. Let's see, Lindsay, now she has a new one that is just about Mary Magdalene. A card deck? She has a card deck that's just about Mary Magdalene? What? I'm going to have to look this up. Okay, so the Maiden, the Lady and the Unicorn, hidden in plain. Not everyone will comprehend your work and creations. Those that do will be enlightened by their meanings. Those that don't are not ready for them. Am I supposed to read all of this? Nope, that's all I'm supposed to read on this one. So what you need to know for your maiden cycle, ovulation. Not everyone will comprehend your work and creations. Those who do will be enlightened by their meanings, and those that don't are not ready for it. So like this is giving you full permission to dream big, and that those dreams are going to mean something to people who mean something, and it's not to others, and it's okay as people. Create anyway. Create because you want to create. Create because you're a creator. Okay. And then the next is Mother. So I will read that. Mother is ovulation. The mother is the fertile part of us, the part of us that births things into the world for real. She's compassionate, protective, nurturing, devotional, understanding, encouraging, and big-hearted. She's loving and nurturing, but also committed to doing whatever it takes to get the job done. She's able to take the energy and enthusiasm of the maiden and turn it into focused action. Able to birth both life and creations into the world, manifesting thought and concept into form. The shadow, overprotective, smothering, forgetting to look after herself, controlling, codependent, abandoning, exhaustion, doesn't know when to stop, making others feel guilty for not needing her. Also, one of the things I love about the mother archetype is that she offers that what she is meant to be set free, right? Like overprotective. Let's control this thing. The season is summer. Everything is so fertile. It's fire. The moon phase is full, ripe, full moon. Rites of passage, partnership, and birth, both life and more metaphorically, like birthing a new creation. Hi, babies. They're just like, I can see 6 of them right now. These beautiful finches. Isis, Gaia, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Amma, Demeter, and Rhea. Notes for rising. You're likely to feel and look your best here. Yes. Oh, this is the ideal time to commit to what is rising in you and go about making it happen for real. Launch the program, write the book, host the event, do the thing. Okay, so the card that we pulled for the mother archetype, the mother cycle, which is during ovulation, unconditional love, mover. Adapting to a new situation is challenging, but necessary. Your old paradigm is breaking down. Move forward, new start. So mothers are great at adapting to change, right? Like on the fly, baby's spitting up. There's a diaper that needs changing. We've got our diaper bag, which is like our medicine bag full of all of these solutions. There's wet wipes, there's binkies, there's diapers, there's powder, there's salve, there's probably snacks in there. Like there's a burp cloth, there's a blanket, there's like our diaper bags, medicine bags. Your metaphorical mother medicine bag. For motherhood, for your mothering, for your ovulation, your creative cycle. What is that medicine bag where you can just whip out whatever you need in the moment you need it to adapt to the situation that you're creating? Your old paradigm is breaking down, move forward, and make a fresh start. Do I need to read anything else from that? Oh, okay. All right. Next is the wise wild woman. This is premenstrual. This was originally the shadow mega bitch for me. Okay, the wise wild woman is uninhibited and wise. She has journeyed through maidenhood and motherhood. She knows who she is and who she isn't. and she's not afraid to show it. Also known as the medicine woman or the healer, she is in touch with and recognized for her inner medicine and magic. She knows her worth, is guided by her intuition, and calls upon it regularly. There is a certain ruthlessness about her, see through what's important and what is not. You can't pull the wool over her eyes. She knows her power, and she demands your respect. Push her or do not respect her, she will react, and it might not be pretty. That's what happened for me this last week. I did not respect her wishes, and she was not happy about it. She's fierce. She's not afraid of what people think. She's not afraid to do what it takes to get what she wants. Shadow Wild Woman, crazy, ruthless, angry, jealous, vindictive, impatient, blunt. The end justifies the means. The season is fall/autumn. Things are falling away. Element is water. The moon phase is waning. So we're going from a new to full. Moving from that maidenhood to the motherhood. In between phase is that wild woman. So that's where I currently am right now. Idols: Artemis, the wolf; Kali or Kali Ma; Tara, Sarasvati, witch, healer, medicine woman. And the notes for rising: this is the best place to let things go, to refine, perfect, and refocus. Dance, sing, or do whatever you can to express and transmute your feelings into passion. It's a great time to declutter your life, negotiate fiercely, protect your boundaries, and create powerful and authentic work. Dance, sing, whatever you can to transmute your feelings to inspiration. Don't just sit and wallow. I would love to know what phase you guys are currently in. I'm currently in this wild woman phase. Where do you bleed? With the new moon, maiden? With the full moon, mother, waning? With the wild woman? Or are you crone, which is dark, new moon, which is a little confusing because where's waxing? Waxing is also maiden. It's like there's overlap. Of course there is, because there's no like one size fits all. Everybody kind of has to find their own. Card that I pulled for the wild woman is Blessed Be. Incoming messages. I got to turn to the page. I'm like, wait a second. That's not the right page. Blessed be. Small, powerful. Don't overlook or dismiss something because of the size or humble appearance of the messenger. The information you receive could be significant to you and benefit the people around you. I feel like I'm supposed to read this one, but I also feel like it's just for me. So do I need to read this on? Okay. I'm learning more and more that my own personal stories are perfect for teaching. I'm a perfect example for what not to do and because of what not to do. It's also my human design. My profile is a 3/5, martyr heretic, which is like that. Like I got to go through this shit and then I got to teach people, hey, there's shit there. Don't go through it. So it makes sense. It lines up. Okay. Here we go. One of the pinnacles on the roof of Rosslyn Chapel has a medieval carved stone flower with access for bee to hive. What? That's so cool. It was built to shelter these small messengers of God, where men had no access to the hive. The honey would run down the interior wall on the left-hand side of the Rosslyn Chapel like a libation to Mary. I'm like drooling this rich, thick, golden amber liquid of the gods. And these are the messengers of the gods. Interesting. In ancient Egypt, it was said that honeybees were created from God's tears. They believed that the bee could traverse the heavens and the underworld to bring back information. Celts, someone help me know and remember. People tell me all the time, but they have not told me how I remember, if it's the soft C or the hard C. My leg is falling asleep. I need to stretch it out. Okay. So the Celts or Celts also considered bees to be messengers between the worlds. The bee is one of the oldest symbols of Aphrodite, the goddess of love. The French used the bee to denote royalty. The Merovingians, I don't know that word, used the bee symbol to show their connection to the oldest of French royalty, imbued with the bloodline of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, descended house of David. The beehive is a matriarchal society. Perhaps they used this symbol to honor Mary Magdalene and Sarah, where the bloodline had originated and where it continued. We can learn to be like bees, who gather pollen for themselves and their hive while doing good in the world. They pollinate plants to sustain nature and our environment, creating harmony and abundance. Blessed be. It was really beautiful. So the bee, while take self, is also contributing to the collective by pollinating plants and creating this delicious libation that some people don't partake in if they're vegan. But interesting. Bees, I just talked about this in my sharecast yesterday. Bees literally, physically should not be able to fly. Like, they're not aerodynamic at all, and their wings are not big enough for their bodies to fly. And I think there's all these really cute little things, but no one told the bee that. But the one that that really resonates with me, because it's what causes them to fly, is that they just vibrate so high, so fast, that they literally hover. And then their wings just kind of like take them, that vibrational hovering, wherever they want to go. And so sitting with bees, that vibration of bee shifts the vibration of your being. And there's this, in yoga, bee breath. And you plug your ears. You place your pinky softly over your mouth. Your ring fingers softly under your nose. Your ring fingers, or what is that? Your middle fingers on your eyelids. And your pointer fingers just above. And you take in a big inhale. And then you... and you buzz. And you can feel the buzz in your nose and your eyes, and your ears closed. It creates that noise, and you can play with the resonance to see where it feels the most powerful and potent for you. That one's a really fun one. Okay, so the last one is the crone. Let's read the crone. This is menstruation. This is your blood cycle when you're bleeding. And even if you don't have a uterus anymore, because you had a hysterectomy, you still go through these cycles energetically. So learning, and you can start to track with the moon phases and see each moon phase. Are you in mother energy? Are you in maiden energy? Are you in wild woman energy? Are you in crone energy? So you can start to track with the moon cycle what your energetic hormonal cycle is, even if you don't have a uterus. So, okay, in ancient societies, the crone was highly revered. However, today she is often not given the reverence she deserves. She is the wisdom keeper, the one who has the ultimate perspective and has nothing left to prove. I love when I'm in my crone stage. It's just like zero fucks given. It's like, I don't give a shit. And I'm just going to do whatever I want. Oh, so lovely to be in that phase. She is able to see with absolute clarity and advise and in a selfless way. That was hard to say. She's able to see with absolute clarity and advice in a selfless way, as she has no ulterior motives. She has a certain patience about her, having been through it all herself, and no longer cares what people think. The crone is part of us that is most potent in her wisdom, is able to see through all inauthenticity and patterns from afar. While the maiden has an innocent purity about her, the crone has a certain purity as well. She is closest to source and in surrender to life. That feels so lovely. However, she has a shadow side. Such is life, our polarity. Gotta love it. Shadow crone is brutal. She's brutal. Hermits, crazy, unforgiving, judgmental, bitter, jaded, lonely, self-pitying, and defeated. The period cycle is your menstruation. Season is winter. Element is earth. The moon phase is the dark or new moon. The rite of passage, menopause. Idols, Vali Myers, Maya Angelou, Women of the Mist, Baba Yaga, Fairy Godmother, Morrigan, Ceridwen, and Hecate. Notes for rising. This is the best part of your cycle during which to rest. Don't believe you need to be physically attractive to be productive. It's an amazing time to make a decision, get clarity on a future project, or be with the energy of what is rising in you. Prior to working with my cycle, I dreaded the premenstrual wise woman cycle and menstruation, crone winter parts of my cycle. I was much more comfortable in the pre-ovulation and ovulation, the maiden, spring, and mother, summer. However, after working with my cycle, I discovered it was actually in the fall, autumn, the premenstrual and winter menstruation that my hidden power lay. It's like where the power really is. And it's the parts, those times of our cycle where we bemoan, we begrudge, we resent, we resist, we take drugs to numb the pain so we don't feel it. We do things to try to distract us. Let's see what Magdalene has for us. And the card is Magdalena, clear vision. Piercing eyes. Sometimes they look blue, and sometimes they look green. Sometimes they look brown. Interesting. Be discerning. Use your innate psychic ability to help you understand the people and situations in your life. I mean, if that is not pure crone wisdom time, go within. Discover with your abilities, your innate wisdom, what's going on around you without saying anything. Like, that's why we red tinted in the past, because we said shit that we didn't want to, that we didn't mean, because we were hormonal. Don't be afraid to walk away from what doesn't serve you now. It's literally the bleed. This is the release. We're letting go of what no longer serves us. And cherish those with whom you resonate. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, and other forms of telepathy often emerge at an early age. Mary Magdalene was aware of her future husband's existence. Her parents were wealthy merchants and hoped her looks would have an advantage in marrying her to a wealthy gentleman. This was not to be, as Mary knew her destiny would take her elsewhere. She would marry Yeshua, be part of his inner mystery school, take the profound knowledge and techniques of psychic healing she learned from him and other mystery school teachings before she met him to be prepared for him, teach his children, and bring the bloodline of King David to other shores. Her ancestral line would flow through the monarchs of Europe until deliberately scattered by the Inquisition. Interesting. Beware of the influence of others. This is why we red tinted. Get away from everybody else. Be with your own stuff. They may have agendas of their own. Only you can determine your destiny. Ask the question, and your higher self will provide the answer in a form you will recognize. Perhaps it will be in an oracle reading or through visions and recurring symbols. You will know. So getting in touch with your innate psychic powers, your own intuitive abilities, which is your crone, your wisdom, your inner knowing. So the chat's been really quiet today. What are your thoughts? I'm really curious to be honest, and it's not going to offend me if you're like, you're batshit crazy. I can't believe you're talking about this. Or this is the first time I've heard of this. Never ever heard that our menstrual cycle goes in these goddess archetypes before. I've never heard of this. And interesting. I'm gonna have to sit with it, or I think this is hogwash, or this is totally resonating with me. Like, let's talk about it. Tell me what's going on. Oh, let's see. Facebook user. This is just the perfect thing for me. I'm going to let this sink in and remember what you're talking about. Oh, let's see. No, that's Emily. Emily, perfect thing for me. I'm going to let this sink in and remember what you're talking about. Very cool. What part are you going to like really contemplate, or what is the next step that you're going to take to help you honor your natural cycles? If you don't mind sharing, Emily. Okay, Facebook user. Well, I just got on and the card resonated and I'm getting ready to start and I'm super psychic and feel death upon me, but not. Like an ego death, the death of the old, which is, I mean, like really every cycle is a death of a potential life, like physical life that could have been, right? Metaphorically speaking, it is the death of what no longer serves us if we are tuned in and listening to our body, what our body is telling us. Beautiful, beautiful. Lindsay, I'm interested to observe myself and see what I find. I'm really looking for, I've been trying to call in a really beautiful period journal that tracks cycles, not just days and months, but also emotions, moods, and where the sun is and where the moon is, right? Because they affect each other and they affect us. And I feel like what really came to me this cycle, this last week was the ending of a big cycle. Like there's been a whole bunch of cycles where I've been releasing little bits and pieces, and this was like the final boom release. And the thing that triggered my thought with that is that last month I bled for 3 or 4 extra days, and this month I was 5 days late. And so my cycle's literally shifting in where and when and how, and I'm usually pretty regular. I love the journal idea, and maybe I just need to just write my own instead of looking for something. But I don't know. She, Rebecca Campbell recommends a couple. So I'm going to be looking into those and see if any of those resonate with me. But also, I just might need to have my own, you know? So let's see, Facebook user. People around me may have, Facebook user, will you please tell me your name? It doesn't tell me your name. It just says you're a Facebook user. People around me may have their own agenda, forgiveness. And yeah, Pluto is something too. And thank you for the reassurance. Pluto. I've not looked to see where Pluto is. I know we just entered Leo, and our Venus, you guys, just went retrograde. So check where your Venus is and check that house that it's in, the house that it's in, and the zodiac sign that it's in. And be extra gentle with yourself and how you experience and receive love and your romantic relationships right now. Be very, very gentle with yourself as Venus is in retrograde. It doesn't happen every year. Let's see, Facebook user. Have you touched on those who don't have one? This is awesome. Thank you. Melissa. Yes, I did touch on those who do not have one. You can track with the moon, the actual moon cycle, because the maiden, the mother, the wild woman, and the crone all have a different moon cycle. So you can start tracking with the moon and discover what cycle you're in with the moon cycle. So, and men are typically off of a solar cycle, which makes sense because yin and yang, right? The moon is yin, which is the feminine womb. And it takes us 29 days to create a full circle around the earth. And then the sun is a 24-hour, earth goes around in 24 hours. And so men typically have a 24-hour cycle where they go through all of their emotions in one day. And that's why they don't hold on to things. They don't have those resentments, and they think, and I mean, some of them do, but it's typically a woman thing. So I also wanted to share. So I got this card deck in honor of Mary Magdalene Feast Day, but I also spent the day working on my altar card. And interestingly enough, I did not feel called to draw Mary Magdalene, but instead one of her ascended master mentors, Isis. Whoa. So I've been working on this altar card. It is not finished. But I feel like I need to draw the flower of life first, and then the tree of life over here over all of the elements. But it's really hard to draw, guys. I don't know if you've ever tried to draw the flower of life or the tree of life. Sacred geometry is really, really tricky. So this is what I spent most of the day in meditative drawing. And there's a whole bunch of light language on her arms and legs. And then, of course, the Ankh representing the divine womb, actual. So the Ankh, the stem down here represents the vaginal canal. And then the cross here represents the ovaries, the right and left ovaries. And then the circle right here represents the womb of no thing, that space, the empty space of co-creation. So a lot of symbolism in here. And then all of the elements, earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, fire, my spirit, all those fun things. And then the blue lotus that she stands on. So, yeah. So thank you for joining me today as we talk and emotions and rhythms that we go through, and honoring those, and trying to really give yourself permission to have some kind of rite or ritual that you know, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to take hours long to do. I went through and mentioned all of the different things that I do, but I don't do all of them every month. It's just like I listen to my body. And this month, my body needs a yoni steam. This day, right now, my body needs a yoni massage, or I need to do some yoni mapping, or I feel like I need to take my blood and create with it, or I need to go fertilize the earth with it, or I need to actually have a burn ceremony and release some shit, or drum and cry, or get in the water. It's big water time for me. Water is always really big for me because I don't have water in my big three. So, Ellie, thanks, Jenny. I'll have to go back and listen all the way through. Yeah, I do share a lot of different rituals that I do. And if you're watching this, and you have really love for you to share, because we do gather information from other people's, and whether we take exactly what you do and go, oh yes, I want to try that, or what you say sparks something in me that's been trying to be birthed through me, but I didn't quite know yet. And someone else triggered that, right with their comments. So it's a really beautiful thing. And taking time to gather with just women, just sisters, to talk about the sacred sisterhood, to talk about these issues. And if you are in pain, if your period causes you any pain, yes, it's normal. Cramps are normal, but it's that the word normal is misleading. It's not normal for your body to be in pain. That's your body telling you, get help. Something's wrong. Listen to me. I'm trying to share something with you, and we need maybe a diet change. We need adjustment, right? Maybe our spine's out of alignment and there's a little nerve that's being pinched that's causing this pain. Oh my gosh, you guys, these goldfinches are just beautiful. I'm just dying. I need to look up their spirit meaning, because they've been showing up Saturday, Sunday, and today. Just one of them landed right here. I could almost touch it if I reached out. And just looked at me, and then flew away, flew around. But if you're, please get some help, because that is your body absolutely screaming something is not right. I've done some ceremonies on women that have had hysterectomy ceremonies, healing, one-on-one healing sessions with my womb drum, and we release some shit, and then they'll bleed. And they're like, man, 10 years. I got my ovaries or my tubes tied or whatever, 10 years ago, and I bled for 3 days. That's how long your body's been holding on to this trauma. And it was just literally for them emotional. It was just this emotional release. And then their body finally physically released the stuff it was holding on to. So there's a lot of ways of caring for yourself: a cranial sacral, a Reiki session, a massage, go sit in a hot tub, or go hike by a stream, or sit by the ocean, or sit under a waterfall. Water is really, really powerful during this time. Drink lots of water. Pray over your water. But don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer in silence. There's something your body is trying to tell you. You guys, we have a studio. Oh my gosh, she's new. Her name is Bailey something. Bailey Gibson, and she is a pelvic therapist. Like, she's a physical therapist that specializes in pelvic floor physical therapy. So, like, if you cough or sneeze, jump, and you pee, she can help you. If you can't pee, then she can help you. If your period you're struggling with, she could help you with all sorts of different things. If you struggle with orgasm, she can help you. Like, pelvic floor physical therapist. Oh my God, how cool is that? So she's at our studio. She's at our collective. So you can check her out too. And then Dr. Allie is craniosacral and chiropractor. So she's beautiful in aligning the spine and dealing with the emotions that show up with the misalignment that are causing the misalignment, so you don't keep misaligning. Honor yourself, honor your cycles. Let's start to be this change. You know, our ancient wisdom, our ancient sisters, our ancient mothers and grandmothers and wisdom keepers knew the power held in these cycles and honored them and created rites and rituals of passage and ceremonies, sacred ceremonies to honor them. Let's get back to that. We do this Thursday. This Thursday is our women's circle. We do this once a month, and we do it in the womb room at our studio, and it's women coming together. Just, we don't always talk about menstrual type things, but like, we're gathering as sisters in this sacred space where we can freely share, be vulnerable and open, and give and receive. And so if you don't have one close to you, if you're not close to us, find one, make one, start one, join ours, whatever feels good for you to honor your sacred sisterhood, these sacred cycles that the world exists because we bleed. No one would be on this planet without this, without our blood, without our ability to create life. And yes, we need men as well. This is not like by any means like I mean, there is immaculate conception. There is that, but and one thing that is so beautiful that I have found is that when women start to own and honor their natural sacred cycles and like really honor it, the men around them naturally rise to summon that. It has been so beautiful. I've witnessed this time and time again. The Sacred Sensual Awakening retreats that we do. We did in Tulum, we did in St. George. We've got one coming up in Eden. All the men that show up to those, it's like you can see them go, oh, I'm ready to hold you. I'm ready to hold you in this space. Like, whatever you need. And it's this safe, like, container of, I got you, your wild woman phase, and you want to burn everything down. And while you're going through your emotional, weepy phase, like, I got you. You're like total like passion and purpose and drive and go create, go. I got you. Let me help support you. And it's like the men naturally rise to support the woman in this cycle when the woman owns and honors it in herself. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to teach them. You own it in you and naturally rise to meet it. It's so powerful to witness and watch. Ellie's so excited for the circle this weekend. Yay, I'm so excited too, Ellie. I'm not going to be there. I'm sorry. I've been, like, we bought season tickets to Broadway. and our tickets always fall on the fourth Thursday of the month, which happens to be our women's circle. So anyway, but you're always in good hands. We have beautiful practitioners that are all Jasmine and Carrie. Allie steps in quite a bit too. It's really beautiful. Let's see. Facebook user, could she help with rape pelvic? So if there's physical trauma that happened with the rape, yes. If it is emotional, I would see craniosacral or me. I've helped a lot of women that have gone through the trauma of rape to release that trauma. Let's see, Facebook user trauma. I don't know what I'm asking, but you're drawing me in. Oh, so much love, my friend. And you're not alone. You're so not alone. Many, many women, dozens of women that have dealt with rape, either personally or with their children. And so there's a lot of things that we can do to release that trauma, and the emotional, the spiritual, the mental. I can do a lot of that. If there is physical, or Bailey, the physical therapist at my studio, both of them at my studio. It's Melissa still. Okay. I don't know why it doesn't tell me names. So weird. The YouTube does for sure, but Facebook, some people it will, some people it doesn't. So, yeah, let's send me a message and I can get you information and we can chat with them and see, or if it is a more mental, emotional, spiritual, then that's something I can definitely help with. Very traumatic physically and emotionally. Okay. Yeah. So let's chat and see where you want to start and I can get you their information. It's also all on the website as well. Heal with us and meet our practitioners. So, okay, loves, I have gone on for, it's 11:11. I looked and was like, oh my gosh, it was 1 hour, 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Yeah. Okay. That's my sign. It is done. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful day. And reach out if you guys want help with any of this. Love you. Bye.